And I am live. KBPS is amazing, FPS is amazing, and YouTube should say excellent connection, which it does say. And now I can just begin solving CP31, the next thing, whatever it is, whatever the next thing is. Right, yesterday I was unable to solve this, but I solved the next four, and I will have to look into how to solve this one. But for now, let's begin. This one, okay, sequence game. Tima and Vega are playing the following game. Okay, they seem to have Indian name, or it is just the abbreviation looks Indian, sounds Indian. First, Vika comes up with a sequence of positive integers a of length m. Okay, and writes it down on a piece of paper. Then she takes a new piece of paper and writes down the sequence B according to the following rule. First, she writes down A1, okay, the first digit in the sequence A of length M. Then she writes down only those AI between starting from the second till the last, such that AI minus 1 is less than AI. Okay, let the length of the sequence be denoted as n. For example, from the sequence A equals to this, then first she will write down 4, then she will write down 2, then 3, 4, 6, 3. Okay, yeah, she will write down only the I, the next part. Okay, so 4, 6, and 3. 4, 6, and 3. Okay, she then gives, let me increase the size so that if someone is watching, they will find it fine. Right, it seems to be going fine. Tima considers winning in such a game highly unlikely. Wait, what? She then gives the piece of paper with the sequence B to Tima. He in turn tries to guess the sequence A. How would that be? Tima considers winning such a game highly unlikely, yes, but she still wants to find at least one sequence A that could be could have been originally chosen by Vika. Help him and output any such sequence. Note the length of the sequence you output should not exceed the input sequence length by more than twice, by more than two times, by more than two times. Okay. Okay, first letter I already have, that is cool. Input each test case T, and the first line of each test case contains a single integer n, the length of the sequence B. The second line contains the sequence B sequence. Okay, the sum of the values of n overall test case does not exceed this. Okay, and output for each test case, output two lines. In the first line, output a single integer m, the length of the sequence. In the second line, output AI, what my presumed AI is. Okay. Okay. And once here, go here, and CPP, yes, boilerplate, and I have the test case, right? The first thing I will get is n and right n and n vector of integer. It will be called b, and then while n minus 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 minus, I will first wait. Do I have to store the list, or can I directly come? Wait, what is going to be my algorithm? First, whatever the first letter is, it will be in the A return sequence, no matter what. Yes, and then the second letter, I have to find any number that is smaller than the second letter and put it there, and then the second letter 063. Right, so for every letter here, I can put a letter that is smaller than this to its left and then output this letter. That should be fine, unless what would, in which case would it not be possible? In this, my output sequence would be 1 because 1 is there, and then shit, I don't have to have a 2. I can just a 1, I can just have this 2, and then 3, 1, 2, 3. That would be the output for this. Shit. Okay, if the next one is smaller, is not greater, then I can just do this. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. And now, so what I have to do? Yeah, I will be needed to store this. Push back. Okay, and an integer called c for the current into c, and push back c here. After that, and let's say I have two vectors, vector b and vector a. Now I have to create a, and what would a look like? A dot, first of all, I will put in the first element, whatever it is, I have to put it. That would be b0. Right. After that, I do not care about what the index of the current letter in B is. I only care about what the letter is, what the number is. So for in, let's say x in B, that is how you traverse through an iterable in C++ when you only want the value of that iterable. Now this, and I have to see, no, this will start from the first, but I do not want to start from the first. Later I want to start from the next one. Yeah, I want to start from the second letter. Yes, so for int I equals to 1, I less than b dot length size, size, and I plus plus, starting from 1, and yes, so if b I, that is the current one, if it is greater than b I minus 1, then what I want to do is just push it onto A. Yep, push it onto A. Otherwise, wait, even if it is equal to, I can do that. Otherwise, if the current one is smaller than the next one, then I need to put in A dot push back bi minus 1, and then A dot, because bi minus 1 is going to be lesser than bi. That does make sense, right? If it is, if the current element is greater than or equal to the last element, I can just put it there. But if it is not, then I have to put an element, a number that is smaller than the current one. This should do it. C out a dot size, and then a new length, a new line, a new line like that, and right, and then right with yep, I have to put in space. How can I convert a vector to a string in C++? How to convert a vector to a string in C++? A vector of integer. Can I even do that? How to transform a vector integer into string? Let's see. Create a string result. Yes. Join result string. Okay, I will have to iterate. Okay, that is something that I do not want to do. So, for int x in a, what I want to do is this. C out, first of all, put out X with a bit of space, right? Put out X, and then at the end, C out, new line. Let's test this. It is running and it is wrong. Okay. Okay. Yes. I have to increase the size because people who are watching might not be able to watch, might not be able to see what I'm typing. Cheers. All right. Now, for int, so this is not working, I guess somehow. See out, put out the size of A, and then for every integer inside A, I have to do this. This should work. I do not see any reason that this would not work. Hmm. Yes, I have saved, and let's compile it on my own and then see. The name of the problem is sequence game. Uh, see, what is happening? ls, yes, clang plus plus a. Oh, it is b sequence game due to some reason. B sequence game, and put the output in dot out, dot slash out, run the program, and let me paste this thing. I do not understand from where my output started and theirs ended. Theirs ended at 5 1 double 2 1 here, and then I outputted 1 and 3, and then I stopped. My program stopped for some reason. My program outputted 1 and then 3 due to some reason. Am I getting all the values in B? I think I should be. N minus minus. Am I messing anything up? Of course. I'm not taking in N, right? The first thing, shit. Cn and cpp run test, and let's see, wrong answer it says. Why? Let me decrease the size. It says 4, then this 1 2 3, then okay, it is not matching this, but yeah, I think this should be right. The first example sample is explained in the problem. In the second example, we could have chosen the original sequence. Yes, and what I want to check now is run this. Am I getting good answer for everyone? Right. For first, I'm getting 4 is the size, and then right, I'm getting 4 6 2 3, which is correct. Which is correct. This is what the sequence would be. This would, if this is my A sequence, then this would result in this being my B sequence, and in this I can return the original one like this. And if this is my A sequence, what sequence would this result in? It would result in 1 7 9 5 7, 1 7 9 5 7, which is correct. And this would result in just 1 4 4 and This would result in one. Yes, that is cool. Then the last one, this one. This would result in 1, 2, 2, 1, 1. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1. And let's see what is their answer. 1. Okay, that makes more sense, I guess. Instead, because I can only give out A only contains positive numbers, right? Positive integers, and 0 is not positive. So instead of pushing back B1 minus this, I have to put back a number that is smaller. Wait, yes, that is cool. Yes, I can put back a number like this. I can put the original number itself. That will also work. Yes, that will also work. And right, I can submit this now. Let's see, I can easily submit that. And I hope my voice is clear and everything is clear. FPS is amazing, KBPS is also amazing. That is pretty cool. And now into documents, programming. Yeah, competitive programming 800, and this one is called a sequence game. B. Duties amazing. B. Sequence game. This is the executable. This is the C file, C++ file, and submit. Let's see, it should work. It is being submitted, running on tests. Accepted. That is cool. Now we can move on to the next one. United we stand. Okay. Given an array A of length n. Wait. Yep. Yep. Given an array A of length n containing integers, and there are two. Wait. Given an array A is the name of the array of length n containing integers, and there are two initially empty arrays B and C. You need to add each element to of array A to exactly one of the arrays B or C in order to satisfy following conditions. Okay. Both arrays B and C are non-empty. Okay, so I have to add at least one to both. More formally, let LB be the length of B and LC be the length of C, and both are greater than equal to 1. Okay. For any two of the indices I and j, where I is in B and j is in C, Cj is not a divisor of Bi. For any indices is not Cj is not a divisor of Bi. Output the arrays B and C, output the arrays B and C that can be obtained, or output -1 if they do not exist. Okay. Let's see some, let's take some examples from this, say this, and work with this. Let's see. Let's say my array is this. This is my A array, and initially my B is empty and my C is also empty. My B is empty and my C is also empty. Okay, and then I have to put, so any number in C cannot be a divisor of any number in B. So what I can simply do is take this largest number from A and put it in C, that would be C, and every other number in B, because a larger number cannot be a divisor of a smaller number. That should solve it. Yep. But in this case, where every number is equal, then if I have, if the largest number occurs twice, then I might have to see what to do. Wait, no, I can put both of the numbers in C. Yep, that does make sense. Okay, okay, I got this. I can do this. Um, for this, I have to go here, go there, select CPP and BLP, boilerplate, and then integer n, that is the size of A array, and yep, Cn, take in n, and then while, wait, a vector of integers for a, b, and c, and while n minus minus, I will do, wait, let me also have a counter called c, while a minus minus, wait, what is the problem? Redefinition of c, okay, let's call this x, and cn to x, and then a dot push back x, right, and then here, after getting A, I have to find the maximum, right, which I can find this here, max and min both. And initially, max and min both will be equal to the first number that I get, which should be Cn, whatever it is, put it into max, and min equal to max, and also C A dot push back min, right, because that is the first number. Now, if no, min equal to, is min lower than x? No, if is x lower than min? Question mark. If it is, then give x, otherwise min, and max equal to, is x greater than max? If it is, then give x, otherwise give max as it is. Then outside I will check if min not equal to, max, that would be cool. If min is not equal to max, then I have myself a solution. Otherwise, I do not have myself a solution. Then I would have to print out -1, see out -1. And in this case, when I do have a solution, I would also have to see the frequency of max. How many times do I see max in there? And that I can only check after finding out what max is. Or, yeah, I would have to populate both B and C, because beforehand I want their sizes. So yeah, for int x in A, let me traverse if x equal to max, then push it in C. C dot pushback max, else C B dot push it back in X, push it back in B, right? And after that, I can see out B dot size, a space, and then C dot size and a new line, right? And then I would have to push out B and push out C for int x B. Yep, C out x with a space, right? And then at the end, C out a new line, and the same procedure for C. Wait, yesterday I had this option in Vim, row highlighting. Yep, column, line. Line. Yep, column highlight. Shit. Kal, no kal. Okay, let me. Okay, um, in it options. I need to change some options. Vim dot opt dot. What is that option called? Lines. Vim dot opt dot relative number line. Nope, 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 nope. In command highlight opt highlight. I want to highlight my lines, the current line that I am at. Cursor line. Yes. Dot this dot cul. Is it called cul? What is the name for relative number or cursor line? I think is the name for this thing. Not clipboard, but cursor line equals true. And let's reload Vim. And wait, what is the name for this thing? United we stand. United we stand. Yep, I have the line highlighted now. That is cool. Now, yep, I had to do the same thing for C here and then new line, and this should work. Let's see, compiling. Now it is running, and wrong answer it says. Let's see why. The first, uh, yes, I have to make this a fall because I cannot scroll on the window on the right. How can I go to that place? CPP, run this thing. Okay, how do I go to that window? Ah, shit. And a United we stand .cpp. From where are you learning CPP? Which year? I am in my second year and I am learning CPP. I'm not learning, I'm just solving this sheet called CP31. In this we have questions at different levels. Lower level means easier problem and higher level means harder problem, just like ELO in chess. And at every level we have 31 problems. I am at my first level, which is 800th level, and currently I am at the 13th problem. United we stand. Lazy update all of the things. Push back, yes. B dot side. Shit, this should be working now. Blank plus plus a United we stand. Put the output dot slash out and copy this question. What is slash out? Command v paste, and why am I starting my output with minus k? Because okay, yeah, makes sense that minus 14 is not minus 14. After this minus 1, I have to output a new line. Right now, it should be fine now. It says wrong answer, but I think we have done it. Minus 1, yep. 4, 1, yeah, this should be fine. This should be fine. And can you drop the link to the sheet you are solving? Yes, I can. right here. CP31 it is called. I think I can submit this one now. This question now. United, United we stand. CPP. Yep. Submit this testing. Running on tests. Let's see, and it is accepted. That is cool. You can move on to the next question called buttons. Buttons. Anna and Katie ended up in a secret laboratory. That is like Frankenstein. There are A plus B plus C buttons in the laboratory lab. It turned out that A buttons can only be pressed by Anna. Okay, buttons as in keys, buttons. B buttons can only be pressed by Katie, and C buttons can be pressed by either of them. Anna and Kitty decide to play a game, taking turns pressing these buttons. Anna makes the first turn. Each button can be pressed at most once, okay, so that at some point one of the girls will not be able to take her turn. The girl who cannot press a button loses. Determine who will win if both the girls play optimally. That is cool if both the girls win play optimally. Okay, now in the input for each test case, out first if Anna wins and second if Katie wins. Okay, T and it is A B C A B C A B C. Okay, that is cool and doable. Of course, it is doable. And click on this extension CPP and BLP for boilerplate, which is a shortcut which I have created. Int A B C, right, and C in A B C. I have the numbers. So in this, let's play with an example. 933, and it is A, B, and C in that sequence. Okay, 933. That is A we have as 9, B we have as 3, and C we have as 3. So these buttons, A, these buttons can only be pressed by Anna. Capacity shit stroke. B, uh, I guess that is the name, Anna and Katie. These buttons can only be pressed by Anna, and she can press them whenever she wants. And these can only be pressed by Katie. Let me write them somewhere. Horrible writing. 9 and separately 3 and 3. Okay, so these buttons can only be pressed by Anna. These buttons can only be pressed by Katie, and these buttons anyone can press. Okay, so suppose what is the max amount of buttons? Yes. So in the end, what they want is to press the maximum amount of buttons. For that, the way to play optimally would be to first of all exhaust these common buttons and press as many as they can. And the one who starts, if the number is even, then if this number, the buttons that are common, if that number is even, then both of them will get equal number of buttons from this common pool. Otherwise, the one who pressed first will get a number that is bigger, and the other one will get one less button. That, right? And these buttons, the number of presses that they get from the common pool, plus their own personal buttons which they can press whenever they want. that, and whoever has a larger number of buttons wins. Right, that should do it. Let's see. That should do the trick. Now, first of all, I will calculate how many presses they each of them get. Right. So yeah, it will be an integer first and second, right? And first will be equal to A at the start, and second will be equal to B at the start, and the common pool is C, and I have to divide C. So F plus equal to C. C is remained, not remainder, but C divided by 2. But this is an integer, which means that this is not float, and I do not want this to be converted to float. So what is 3 divided by 2 in CPP? C++, that is something that I would have to see. Plus C divided by 2, and then F equals, I will have to see if a remainder of C with 2, remainder of C with 2 equals 0. If that is it is even, then F equals F, otherwise F equals F plus 1. Right, now I have their number of clicks, the maximum number of clicks that they can get if they are both of them are playing optimal. And after that, what do I have to do? I have to see, yes, this is the maximum number of presses that they can get. After that, I have to see if one of them has higher number of presses, then they, okay, if, because I know that the first one will start pressing it first, it is in the name. So if F equals to S, that is the one case that we have. That is the case, then S wins. And yes, either this, if S is greater than or equal to F, then S wins. See out second, and let's see it. Okay, I have to give it out in small, right? Else, else see out first, and with a new line, of course. This should work. Should this work? Yes, I think this should work if this part does not give me something bad. Even if this gives me a float, that would not matter because both of them will get the same number, right? So run and let's see. Correct. Choose file. This is called, what is it called? Buttons. A buttons. Choose file. A buttons should be here and submit. Let's see how it works. Running on test 1 and accepted. Cool. And how many accepted have I gotten in the row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one is from yesterday. No, both of them are from yesterday. Right. Today I have done 3 problems now. Now moving on to the next one after buttons. Array coloring, and the stream has gone on for only 39 minutes and I have done 3 problems. That is that fine? No, that is not good. Yep. You are given an array consisting of n integers. Your task is to determine whether it is possible. You are given an array consisting of n integers. Okay, your task is to determine whether it is possible to color all its elements in 2 colors in such a way that the sum of the elements of both the colors have the same parity, and each color has at least one element colored. Okay, parity, I heard at some point, but I forgot. For example, if the array is this, okay, we can color it as follows, where the sum of the blue elements is 6 and the sum of the red elements is this. So E in such a way that the sum of the elements of both the colors have the same parity to each other. What is parity? Is it like the least common denominator? Have to see what is parity in terms of numbers. In mathematics, the property of an integer, whether it is okay, either both are odd or both are even. Okay, and that is cool. Input. The first line contains an integer t. Okay, that is cool. Each test case begins with a line containing an integer n, which is between 2 to 50. Okay, so at least I have two elements, and at most I have 50. The length of the array A, and the next line contains the array itself. What do I have to print out? I have to print out this thing for each test case. Output yes without quotes if it is possible to color the array in two colors in such a way that the sum of their both the elements is this and no otherwise. That is true. That is doable. Oh yes, I have to click on this extension, select CPP here, BLP for to get boilerplate, which is a shortcut that I created. And inside, yep, integer n and c to get the current thing, and a vector of type int, let's call it a, that is my array. And now y n minus minus c in c and a dot push back c. That is cool. And now what do I have to look? Wait, do I have to store the array? Can I not just see it, perceive it? I guess even ones don't matter, right? Yes, even numbers don't matter. What I have to look for is, are there even number of odd numbers? If that is the case, then they will have the same parity. Yes, 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 that is the case. So I do not have to store this. I do not have to store this. What I can do is this, take this integer and odd c, which means odd count. And if c, not this, odd count is initially equal to 0. Now odd c equal to, I have to see if c is remainder by 2. If that is equal to 1, that is I have an even number, then I would do odd c plus 1, otherwise odd c, right. And at the end I would have to check if odd c's remainder with 2 equals 0, then we are good to go. C out and yes, hold on, and else C out, no, new line, and let's run the test case and see. TE, is which is an error, right? And minus odd P if this equal to this. What is TE error? Time, right? Right. Okay, yes, because of course n c in n, right? PPP run this test case and I have the wrong answers. I guess that is because these have to be in capital. Run this and correct answer. Answer correct. And this is called array coloring. Choose file. A dot array coloring. Coloring. This is the one. And let's see. Submit. It is running on tests. Good. Accepted. Now, moving on to the fifth question of the day. What do we have? We have this desorting. Call an array A of length n sorted if right. So this is non-descending order. Anthrosis has an array A of length n. He is allowed, okay, that is the name, male. He is allowed to perform one type of operation on it 0 or more times. Okay, one type of operation. Choose an index I. All right, starting from the first, except the last one. I have till n, but except the last one. I cannot choose the last one. I can choose the first one, but not the last. Add 1 to all the elements up until that point and subtract 1 from the ones that are left. Okay, the values of a can be negative after an operation. Okay, determine the minimum operations needed to make a not sorted. Shit shit this should be doable. This should be, of course, doable. Of course it is doable. I have to find out the minimum number of operations. It is guaranteed that the sum of n across all test cases does not exceed 500. Okay, let's try this one now. Enter boilerplate integer. Or does it look like? Right, n and c and c and n and vector. Inside a vector, I will store a, and while n minus minus, I have to do is c and a can c and a dot push back into c. And now I have the array, but do I have to store the array? I don't think so. My algorithm is going to be something like this. In this, the answer would be 1, of course, and in this, the answer is 2. In this, the answer is it is 0. It is already unsorted, and in this, the answer would be 5. Shit, it is 3 in the last one. Why would it that? Because I am increasing and decreasing at the same time. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. So it was 2 in this case. Yes, because I am decreasing the ones at the later and increasing the ones here. So what I have to do is I do not have to store this array. That is just fine. And what I have to do is find the minimum difference. No, I would have to store the array. Would I have to store the array? No, I don't think I have to store the array because I want this current element and the next one. And right, so let's say last and C for current, and after taking this in this, I will take in also populate the last one and run this loop one less time. Right, I have the current and the last one. And what is the minimum size of the array that I can have? 2. Okay, so this will at least run once, right? And in this, I have to check, first of all, if it is already unsorted. If C is less than the last, that is current one is less than the last, then I can just C out is 0, and then a new line. Wait, I can just, instead of doing this, I can do make it a string instead. and then I would have to go through the loop and complete it completely, taking all the input, right? And minus minus if this is the last case, and if this is the last case, yes, I can do while and minus minus is taken all the input C into C, right? And what is the other condition that I have to check? Else it is not. Else the last one is either equal to or greater than C. Else the last one is either equal to or less than C. In that case, what I have to see is there difference, right? Let's say min D, min difference. And initially, shit, I want two elements initially. So initially, min D would be equal to what? Let's say 500, right? Because they said that it will be sorted in 500 steps. So this is very arbitrary. What if the maximum size changes, then this will break. But anyway, else I have to find the difference now. What is the difference? Last current is greater. Current, no, min D, which is mind due to some reason. If mind is equal to, I have to see if C current minus last. If this is less than mind, if it is less than mind, then mind equals C minus L. Otherwise, mind equals mind as it was earlier. Now this should do the work. And what I have to do is find out, divide mind by 1 and get the ceiling number. So int answer, let's call it answer equals mind divided by 2, split brain, and then answer plus plus, because if the answer is 1, like in this case the value of mind would be 2, and here answer would become equal to 1, and then I would have to increase it by 1, because reducing making the operation once makes them equal, and then I have to do it another time to make them unequal. That is, the last one has to increase and the current one has to be smaller for it to be non-sorted. And this is the case, but if it is, let's say, if it is odd, like in this case, then here the difference is 2, and the difference is 5, and 5 divided by 2 would make answer equal to 2, and after making two operations, 9 would become equal to 11, and 14 would become equal to 12, and making the operation once more. Yes, that is cool. I can just output answer output answer with a new line. Is that all that I have to output? Yes. Let's see, cpp run this, and that is wrong. First one was correct, second one messed up. Right. Okay, it happened after this. Nope, it happened before that. I got 4 for the second one. Why did I got? Ash. Why did I got 4 for the second one? Current minus last. Yes. If it is less than mind, put current minus last equal to mind, and otherwise mind remains mind. is the problem here? Let me output mind also. Mind, mind, ah, mind this, and then the value of mind, and then a new line. CPP run this. In the first case, the value of mind is 0. In the second case, the value of mind is 7, which is horrible. 7 does not. Shit. 7. Shit. Yes. Shit, yes. Because I am not updating L after every loop. Right, after every loop, L becomes equal to 0. Yes, after every loop, L becomes equal to C, and this is what we have. And space CPP, run this, and let's see, it is running, and this, of course, remove it, save, save. We run this, it is running, and I expect it keeps on running. TE, time error, I guess. I think the problem is with this is because I do not want to do just random things. Right. Current less than, it never happened, right, in this case, but it does. So I suppose that it is stopping in this case here, right? It is stopping in this case, and in which case L equals 1 and C equals 3. It checks, it sees that the L1 and C3 is this condition is false, so it goes into else and puts mind equal to 2, puts mind equal to 2, and then L becomes C, which is 3. L becomes 3 and C gets the next number, which is 2. After getting 2, we have L equal to 3 and C equal to 2, and this condition becomes true. And this is the last time that I would like to run this loop. N was originally equal to 1. No, N was originally equal to 3, and I reduced it once, and then in the second loop it got reduced again. And yes, now this is correct. I have to decrease N first and then check CPP. Now it should work. It is running and time out. See out this. Uh, yes, if this is C out, then instead of doing this, I can put mine equals -1. And in here, if mine less than 0, C out 0 with the new line. The braces are wrong, and the quotes, they have to be double quotes, and else for a few things like this. So CPP run and running, and the problem is still not solved. भाई थोड़ा ज़्यादा ambitious नहीं हो गया Vim. I Vim is amazing. Vim is beautiful, and through by using Vim, I now understand what are things like LSP, tree setter, and all of those things. LSP, tree setter, abstract syntax tree, and parsers, and the whole things. How is syntax highlighting and all of those things done? So this is not stopping due to some reason. And to debug, I would have to compile it on my own. on my own. A desorting is the name. Out. So climb plus plus A desorting out and copy. It has been copied, but slash out, paste, and let's see. It is getting stuck. But when the last one was 1914, 1914, I got 1, then I got 2, which is correct, and but then I didn't got 0, I got stuck. Instead of getting 0, I didn't even come out of this while loop, I got it. Of course, because this makes n equal to 0 and I'm getting stuck in this loop instead of getting stuck in this loop. Okay, after this, if this is true, I can break. Yes, that should work. Let's see. Yes, it does work. It's called a desorting this and submit. Let's see, running on test 1. It should be accepted. Wrong answer on test 2. What is the thing that is wrong? Right. For the first one, it is correct, but in the second one, I got wrong answer. Input was this, output was. Okay, I had 100 test cases. Output this, and my answer was this. Wrong answer. Third number differ. Expected this. Found 501. Why would you expect this as an output? With this is what I outputted, and this below is what was expected. Okay, it is because my value of diff was strange, right? Yes, because I hard coded the value of diff. I thought that might bite me in the ass later, but okay, I will fix it now. I did that because I saw something here. Okay, it was for n, not for this. It is guaranteed that the sum of n across all the test cases does not, the sum of n across, across, sum of n does not exceed 500. Okay. Yeah, I will have to do some changes on this because the error was there because I hard coded the value of mine. So I will also have to get the current one here, and mine equals last minus current. Yes, last my and shit, I would have to check all the conditions, which I'm checking here after this. Yep. Um, is it necessary? Yes, because I have to initialize mind outside the while loop once, at least once. And yes, initialize mind with this. And if yeah, do this. No, in the else part, put this. Yes, right, and put last equal to current and this, and also n minus minus. My bad. Is that correct? Now, right, taking everything, taking aside everything, and shit, while n minus minus. Before that, let me check while n not equal to 0, while n and n minus minus. That should solve quite a few things. And mind L minus minus, while current is if current is smaller than last, and I come to know this in the first number itself, then this is true. Yes, yes, I did all of this to initialize mine, and I will only do that if this thing is false, and then put last equal to C, and this, let's see, compiling, wrong answer, wrong answer for this one, standard output, I got one for that, and then zero for everything else. Why? Wow, let's see. I got zero for everything else. Why? I'll get zero only if this thing is true. Nope, mine is less than zero, but mine resets, right? Last current minus my fuck shit. This has to be equal to current minus last. Now run test case now, and I have the correct answer. That is cool. I can submit it now. A desorting signal. Submit. Should work fine now. Time limit exceeded on test 2. N cannot be equal to 1, right? Time limit exceeded. No, yes. In this, when this is the case, I have already taken in 2 inputs. So I have to do this right here. And then this should be fine. Let me test it locally, and it is correct. And now choose file again, a desorting array, and submit. And we will see how that goes. In queue, run test 1, accepted. Fuck you. I have completed 5 questions today. And let's move on to next. Let's do as many as I can, as we can. Forbidden integer. You are given an integer n, okay, which you want to obtain, okay. You have an unlimited supply of every integer from I to k except integer x, okay. 3 variables whom I don't know anything about. There are no longer x at all, okay. There is, I have n, I have integers from I 1 to k, but I do not have x. You are allowed to take an arbitrary amount of each of these integers, possibly 0. Can you make the sum of the taken integers equal to n? If there are multiple answers, print any of them. Okay, I have to print the answer. Okay. The first one is the number of test cases. The only line of each test case contains 3 integers n, k, and x, and all 3 of them are between 1 and 100. All right, so that makes sense. I can do that. It should be easy. Right, again, the boilerplate. I have integer, smallest is x, then I have k, then I have n, and p in x, and then I have k, and then I have n. My bad. Right, that is the order. Nope. First one is n, then k, and then x. N, then k, then x. All right. And what is the output that I'm supposed to get out? For each test case, in the first line, print yes or no. Okay, yes or no in every case. Whether you can make an arbitrary amount of integer from this, like, okay, and if you can, the second line should contain a single integer m, the total number of taken integers, and the third line should contain m integer, each of them from 1 to k not equal to x, and their sum is n. Okay. If multiple answers are there, print any of them. Okay. What would be the case when I cannot find the answer? Ah, in this case, if I do not have 1, right, in the second case, if n is negative, if no, not negative, but if n is odd and I do not have 1, but even then I should be able to find the answer. Yes. Yes. Even in this case, I am unable to find that because in this case I do not have any integers. Right. So what do I have to check? First of all, I will make a vector int. Wait, do I have to make a vector? Yes, I guess. Not really, but okay, I will see if I have to make an make a vector. Hmm. What do I do here? Yes, if I have 1, right, then everything is possible. If x is not equal to 1, then everything is possible, right? I can just put out ones. If x if x not equal to 1, then I can just put out ones, right? While n minus minus yeah, while n minus minus c out 1, 1 and then a space, and at the end c out a new line, right? But if it is 1, if x is 1, that is I do not have access to 1, and okay, then I have two cases, I guess, that either k is 1 or k is 2, right? If then k equal to 1, and else is, that is k is not, wait, k is, else if I want to check, else if k equal to 2, right? If k is also equal to 1, then yes, shit, before that I have to put out the out, yes, yes, it is all capitals, yes, and then this, and if k is also equal to 1, then no. Now if k is equal to 2, then I will have to see if n is even or odd. If n remainder 2 equal to 0, if n is even, then it is like I can do it, yes, and then I can just take 2 2 2 2 2 till n, while n minus 2, no, and also have and yeah, shit. Uh, while n, right, at the end I will remove n equal minus equal to 2, and I will see out what 2 and a space, and at the end see out a new line character, right? If n is positive, but if n is odd, wait, if n is even, that is the case. Else, if n is not even, then no, can do it. New line. Now, if k is not 1, not 2, not 3, then I guess in that case we do have an answer. Let's see. Guess we do have an answer in that case. Would you like okay, so what do we have? We have this, remove this. This is not what we have. We have n. Yes, we have n, which could be greater than or equal to k. And yes, that is all that matters. And other thing, we have k, which is greater than or equal to 3, right? And the numbers at our disposal, at least what I know to be at my disposal, is a 2 and a 3. So can I make any number that is equal to or less than n? I guess n can be 3, right? In that case I would output 3. N can be 4. In that case I would output 2. N could be 5. In that case I would output 3 and then 2. N could be 6, in which case I would output 2. Okay, if n is even, I wrong. Oh, shit. It would be the same condition as this, but I would have to write this twice. Is that a good thing? If n is equal to 1 and if n is equal to 2, yeah, right, and okay, I can copy paste this, paste, right. If n is even, but if n is odd, then also it is doable. New line. How is it doable? You might ask. It is because I can output 3 space. Shit, I also have to output the length of the amount of the numbers that I am going to output. That is going to be the first thing that I output. So in that case, every time that I am outputting yes, I also have to output something else. After yes, here I am putting in so C out N and then a new line, and here is no, so it doesn't matter. Here C out n divided by 2 here, because here I know that n is even, so this, hey, what am I even doing? Yeah, that would be cool. And then a new line, I think that should do it. uh, yes and no, so there it doesn't matter. Copy this, go there, paste, right? And in this case, when it is odd and I have, at least that I know that I have 2, and I have 3. And first number that I'm going to output is going to be 3. And then internally I would make n minus equal to 3. But before that, I have to output length, right? After yes, I have to output the length. And it is going to be it, um, yes, n minus equal to 3, right? At this point, I do know, and this goes in else. And yep, this at this point, I do know that n is even. So n L means linked, and at the start it is 1 for 3 that I did here, and then L plus equal to n divided by 2. And now I can output L with a new line, and then 3, and then while n, the same thing like this, right? And then a new line. I think this is one of the shittiest programs that I have written in this whole series, because just look at the amount of cout it has, and the amount of it is like very tailor made for very specific purpose. Let's see. Run test. The wrong answer due to some reason. Okay, because it is trying to match it with the given answers. Yeah, it is saying yes, no, yes, no, and none of the yes, no is wrong. So that should be cool. It is a forbidden integer. A forbidden integer, submit. And brother, I have a great application idea for a startup, but can't remain consistent to coding. What shall I do? Well, what I am doing, you can stream, and because if you stream, you have a more sense of meaning and responsibility that other people are watching it. So you should try to stream. Share what? Yeah, streaming is good. It keeps you, it makes okay, code force is not working, I guess. Yeah, code force is the one that is not working. Yeah, you can start to stream. Streaming is good and keeps you, and it also takes you more ahead than you would on your own, right? If I were to code on my own when no one is watching, then I would code like less for like an hour or 1.5 hours. But if I were streaming, then I would go ahead more. I would dig deeper into the thing that I'm doing. And when I'm learning, then I cannot just half-ass things. I have to be thorough with what I'm doing while I'm streaming. Code Forces is down right now. Code Forces is not running, so site cannot be reached. Codeforces.com, it is running. Okay. Oops, probably Codeforces can't be reached right now, or your internet connection is broken. It is not broken. I am streaming. Reload the page, return to the main page, visit this. If you are partaking in an official round right now, yes, I am partaking in an official round right now. I guess. Please wait, your browser is being checked. It means, ah, shit, I have to log in. Uh-huh. Okay, it is just for rounds. Let's go. Uh, I don't know. That is Russia. Hmm. So we cannot do this right now. But what we can do is refresh this and see. Shit, we cannot even see this because code forces servers are down. So that would be the end of this stream. But is there something else that I can do before ending this stream? No. This one. Yes, I can. I can. Yes, this is what I wanted to do. This is my core forces folder, competitive programming folder. I am going to put it on Git in it on my GitHub. And yes, I have created it. Git status, git add everything, and git commit message. Then a few, then some stuff, and I will put it on my GitHub and force push it on my GitHub new repository. Wait, what does import repository mean? URL so nah, yes, learn no. I do not have a URL for my repository because it is on locally. New repository. Yep, this will be called CP31, where CP is capital. CP is not something else. It is just this create repository. And wait a minute. I will have to go for a minute. I will be right back. I am back. So yeah, this copy this, copy this, and put it uh, this thing with push with ah with push open master. Why is it master? It pushes to the master because here I should have stuff here. Questions are in the middle of it. And, open this, paste it here in the chat. And that would be the end of the